Oh my God, you won't believe what really went down in Paris. Everyone thought this was her moment. Meghan Markle's grand comeback, her big "I'm back and you can't ignore me" move. The Balenciaga front row, cameras flashing everywhere, that confident walk like she was about to own the city. It was supposed to be iconic, like headline-making, world-stopping iconic. But girl, the vibe inside? Dead, silent. I'm not exaggerating. It was so awkward, you could literally feel the air freeze when she walked in. One stylist whispered later, "It was like someone turned the volume down on the entire room." No smiles, no hugs, none of those exaggerated "oh my God, you look amazing" moments. Just eyes. Eyes that followed her every step, judging, analyzing, calculating. You'd expect chaos for a duchess showing up at Fashion Week, paparazzi screaming, editors tripping over themselves for selfies. Nope, none of that. She walked the carpet with that chin-high, I own the world look, but no one important stepped forward. People kept their distance, literally taking a step back. Nobody wanted to be the one caught chatting too close. The photographers took their shots, sure, but even they looked bored. The whole thing was painful to watch. You know that secondhand embarrassment feeling? That, because behind those polite smiles, whispers started flying. Fast, quiet, vicious. The kind that spreads like wildfire before the night's even over. Now, this is where it gets juicy. Backstage crew members, the ones who really see it all, started trading stories. And honey, the tea was boiling hot. They said being near her wasn't easy, not because she was rude, not even because she acted too grand. It was because she smelled. Yeah, you heard that right. Multiple people swore the same thing. They said her breath and her body odor were bad, like bad. One described it as a mix of cheap perfume and stress. Another said the glam team was panicking, spraying everything they could around her like they were trying to fumigate the air. Apparently, Meghan kept adjusting her scarf, trying to cover her face, smiling like nothing was wrong, but you could see the exhaustion on her makeup artist's face. Someone even joked, "You can fix foundation, but you can't fix that smell." Brutal, right? But that's fashion gossip for you. Fast, quiet, merciless. By the end of the night, the rumor had reached the lobby. People weren't even talking about the Balenciaga designs anymore. The only thing being whispered through the hallways was her. See, Paris forgives arrogance, it forgives scandal, even betrayal, but it never, ever forgives bad hygiene. And here's the kicker. The fashion insiders revealed that Meghan's entire look that night, it wasn't some glamorous, hand-picked designer moment. Nope. It was a favor, a last-minute arrangement, not a grand invitation. Balenciaga hadn't rolled out the red carpet for her. They'd only given her a single pair of shoes, basic black heels. The rest of her outfit, borrowed, not gifted. The clothes didn't even fit properly because they weren't tailored for her. No personal touch, no custom adjustments. In fashion, that's a message, a silent one that says, you're not part of the circle. For celebrities, free clothes are a badge of honor. It means the brand believes you'll bring value to their name. But Meghan, she had to return everything, tags still attached. That's how the industry quietly tells you you're not it anymore. How could someone so media savvy not know the history of that tunnel? Her close friend once said Meghan used to watch Diana's funeral over and over again. She studied that story, knew every detail. So how could she not know? Simple, she did. And that's what makes it worse. You remember how Meghan once said the press was cruel? How she and Harry blamed the British media for destroying Diana's life? Well, here's a detail most people forget. The same woman who condemned the tabloids later sat down with CBS, the very same network that aired and bought Diana's dying photos. Yes, those haunting final images weren't sold by the British press. It was an American network that cashed in on Diana's last moments. CBS bought them, aired them, profited from them. And years later, Meghan and Harry gave CBS their biggest, most personal interviews. The irony burns, doesn't it? While Harry was grieving his mother, that network was turning her tragedy into ratings. And now, decades later, he walked back into their arms with the woman who uses Diana's legacy as her brand. That's not just irony, it's hypocrisy at its finest. Paris saw it all. From the moment Meghan walked in, the illusion started to crumble. After leaving the royal family, she tried to reinvent herself. The global humanitarian, the businesswoman, the independent icon, but those who'd worked with her said it was all surface level. Her speeches, written by others, her business ventures, vague, recycled ideas, her staff, constantly describing her as demanding but directionless. And while she told the world she wanted privacy, she couldn't stop calling the cameras. Every move, every gesture, every outfit, calculated. She wanted Diana's compassion, the Queen's poise, Hollywood's glamour, all at once. But in chasing all those reflections, she lost her own. The Paris Fashion Week was supposed to be her rebirth, her triumphant return to the global stage, but instead it became her mirror, reflecting everything she tried to hide. People saw through the performance, the forced smiles, the empty symbolism, the fake warmth. The same woman who once captivated the world now looked like a shadow of her own illusion. Reporters started asking questions they'd once been too cautious to touch. Why didn't any major designer want to dress her? Why hadn't any global brand signed her since Spotify and Netflix cooled off? And why, after all this healing, did Harry look so completely lost? The answers were whispered all through Paris, and they weren't flattering. The charm had faded. The story was over. Meghan Markle wasn't the mystery anymore. She was the headline that had already been written too many times. By the time she left Paris, the lights were still flashing, but the warmth was gone. The applause? Polite, not passionate. Behind her, the whispers grew louder than the cheers. The city that once adored Diana had no patience for imitation. Paris doesn't reward pretense. It exposes it. That week, it stripped Meghan bare. No filters, no PR shine, no royal glow. Just the truth. People finally saw what insiders had been hinting at for years, that the glamour and grace were all a carefully built stage. Behind the diamonds and designer coats stood someone empty, bitter and exhausted from pretending. Maybe she thought Paris would crown her again, but instead, it took off the mask. By the end, she wasn't shining under the lights and she was caught in their glare. Paris gave her what she craved. Attention, but not admiration. For a brief, flickering moment, she believed she'd become Diana's reflection. But here's the truth. Diana's light came from love. Meghan's came from performance. Those who saw her up close that night, the stylists, the assistants, the backstage crew, they said it quietly but clearly. It wasn't royalty they were watching. It was imitation. The tunnel wasn't a tribute. It was a warning. Because Paris doesn't reward pretenders, it exposes them. And when the lights dimmed and the cameras packed away, there was no thunderous applause, just silence. She came to be remembered, and she will be, not for grace, not for kindness, but for that one haunting moment when the act ended and the truth finally took the stage.